time, I would like to ask Councilmember Charlie Harmon to lead us in prayer, please.
Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight with thanks and praise for all your many blessings. Your blessings not only on us individually, but on us as a city, on us as a nation, that allow us to come here tonight to meet and to assemble, to self-govern, to all the ways that you've blessed us. Lord, we pray your continued blessing and protection on our city, on our employees, and especially on those who put themselves in harm's way daily for the protection of our citizens, our police, our fire protection, and others, Lord. And we just thank you so much for those men and women, Lord. Lord, we pray that you would bless those up here with your wisdom and discernment, Lord, and that you would bless us with that we would know your will and that we would do your will above all others, especially our own, Lord. These things in Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Would you stand for Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brooks. Here. Harmon.
Here.
Lilly.
Here.
McMahon.
Here.
High. Here. Keplinger.
Here.
Sanders.
Here.
Williams. Here. Before we move any further along in our meeting, I just have something I'd like to ask of the council, and the audience can certainly put theirs on silence too. We appreciate it. But I've had some citizens come forward and ask me that as elected officials that we not be on our cell phones during. They watch it online at home and in the audience, and there's been comments made that we are on our cell phones at times during the meeting, and they've asked that we not. So I'm asking you to adhere to that tonight for the benefit of the meeting, and so we'll be concentrating on that. And if you have an emergency, certainly step out. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes of the regular meeting on June 25th, 2018 is transcribed.
So moved.
Second.
Aye. Williams. Aye. Keplinger.
Aye.
Harmon.
Aye.
Brooks. Aye. McMahon.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Sanders.
Aye.
You have copies in your packets of the June 2018 financials. Are there any questions or discussions of those? We did just complete our 6-month evaluation of our finances. So we had a good meeting there. So things seem to be in good order for us. Hearing no comments, move forward. Next is going to be the waive reading requirement.
Mayor, I don't believe that's going to be necessary tonight. I think we're going to, when we get down to the planning commission business, it's my understanding that they're going to ask that it just be read one time again and passed on. So that would be the only one that would be subject to the reading requirement.
Very good. Next item on the agenda is presentations. At this time, I would like to ask Lisa Curry with the FOP to come forward. She has some presentations that she has asked to make tonight. I believe she has one with her.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing us a few moments of your time this evening. I am Lisa Curry. I'm retired from the Sherwood Police Department back in 2015, and I am State Secretary for the Arkansas State Lodge Patrol Order of Police. And this is our state president, Kevin Clark Simpson. And back in June, we held our annual conference, and we have an awards banquet, and several of our city administrators and department heads and folks from Sherwood received awards. A couple of them couldn't be there with us that night. So what we're going to do is we're going to present all of them again tonight. Shouldn't take us just a few minutes. I appreciate your patience and understanding, but I want to make sure that these folks get recognized. We are going to start out with the Outstanding Supporter Award. The Mathis Low Lodge, Sherwood number 15, would like to nominate the Sherwood Police Academy Alumni Association as the Arkansas Outstanding Supporter for 2017. The SCPAAA NCP AAA, I'm going to try to finish, has held cookouts for police officers, volunteered countless hours to support department and lodge programs, and coordinated National Police Week activities for the department. They have also held fundraisers annually and contributed funds raised to purchase body armor, in-car, and body cameras, and is currently raising funds for the purchase and training of the department's newest canine. In addition, they coordinate and set up retirement parties for the department and lodge and volunteers with the department's biannual Citizen Police Academy. Most notably, in 2017, the Sherwood Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association raised $20,000 in door prizes, drawings, giveaways, and food for the 2017 National Police Week activities at the Sherwood Police Department. It is with heartfelt appreciation and our utmost honor to nominate the Sherwood Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association for this award. And Christy and Angela from the association are here with us. Real quick, I want to comment on our award. What it contains is the 2017 State Capitol Christmas Tournament. It always features something from the Capitol grounds, and in 2017 it featured the Law Enforcement Officers Memorial honoring fallen Arkansas law enforcement officers. Our next award will be for Outstanding Citizen, and unfortunately, he can't be with us again tonight, but we have someone who's going to accept on his behalf. The Sherwood Mathis Low Lodge number 15 would like to nominate the Honorable Judge Miles Hale III as the Outstanding Citizen for 2017. Judge Hale has been a supporter of the Sherwood Police Department and the Sherwood Fraternal Order of Police Mathis Low Lodge number 15, as long as he has been a citizen of Sherwood, where he has lived most of his life. In addition to his official duties, he volunteers his personal time and resources to support the department, the lodge, and the citizens of Sherwood. Judge Hale has helped sponsor the Larry Hutton Memorial 5K held in honor of a Sherwood Explorer Post Sergeant. And I will also add that he always runs in the Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics, which is held right before the Summer Games. He also volunteers to teach a class on the courts and domestic violence for the Sherwood Citizen Police Academy. It is our honor to nominate Judge Miles Hale III for this award, and tonight Steve Cobb is going to accept on his behalf. Yes.
When they made him a full-time judge, he became a floater. And he was in Searcy this afternoon at about 5:30 in a panic because they hadn't called all the witnesses yet. He was still going to have to be a judge. He couldn't be here. He's grateful for the award. I'm not sure he is.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Our next award is Outstanding Chief. The Sherwood Mathis Low Lodge number 15 would like to nominate Chief Jim Bedwell as the Arkansas Outstanding Chief for 2017. Chief Bedwell tirelessly works to improve the Sherwood Police Department and the Sherwood Fraternal Order of Police Mathis Low Lodge number 15. He has been instrumental in restoring and increasing benefits to members, including step raises and take-home vehicles. He is known as a chief that supports his officers, yet is fair when he has to take disciplinary action. Chief Bedwell has ridden through the ranks at the Sherwood Police Department, and he demonstrates daily that he is a chief who has not forgotten his roots. It is our high honor and privilege to nominate Chief Jim Bedwell for this award. Our final award tonight, the Sherwood Mathis Low Lodge number 15 would like to nominate Mayor Virginia Young as the Arkansas Outstanding Mayor for 2017. Mayor Young has demonstrated her support of the Sherwood Police Department and the Sherwood Fraternal Order of Police Mathis Low Lodge number 15 consistently in her role as Chief Executive of the City of Sherwood. Mayor Young has supported benefits for the members of the department and the lodge through her tenure, even when it was not politically popular to do so. Mayor Young is open to discussions with members and has backed the department and the chief with the citizens and the public. It is our honor to nominate Mayor Virginia Young for Outstanding Mayor. Members of the council and citizens, we appreciate your time and allowing us the privilege to make these presentations this evening. Thank you.
Congratulations to all the recipients, and we do so much appreciate what our police department, all of our supporters do for our city. Makes us a great place to live. Our next presentation is going to be handled by Council Member Mike Sanders. He has some presentations he would like to make.
All right. How exciting is this to see all these kids here? I think the future of Sherwood is really great. You guys know I'm part of the baseball program at Sherwood Outreach Club, so I'm introducing you to state champions from the opposite club right here. We got our 8-year-old Seminoles All-Stars, coached by Brandon Grice. You guys come on up here and call your team up here. Ryan Barger, Ryan Newman, and Elijah Peters. You guys holler out their names and we'll give them a So, you never get involved in baseball, it's extremely difficult to win the state tournament when you're playing against the Bryants and the junior deputies. Same thing with the 10-year-olds. It's very difficult to win that. So we're very proud of these two teams to make it this far, go through districts. It's not easy, so we're proud of these guys. All right, Jed Peters. Eric Cole. Brady Grice. Jake Snow.
We have 307.
Atticus Hardy. Brady Barber. Jackie Hudson. Isaiah McDowell. Jake Newman. Devion Evans. All right. Hey, check out their cool rings. They got state championship rings. Our 10-year-old all-star team. Come on up here, guys. Coached by Aaron Umate, better known as Speedy. If y'all don't know Speedy. Tim Harrison, James Seeds, and boss man Michael Greger. Up first, we have got Hayden Hepp. Warrior. Tim Harrison, or excuse me, Caleb Harrison. Andrew Weeks, Chance Eubanks, Luke Kendall, and the rest of our team, for the most part, I'm proud to say, is a church game. So.
We appreciate you guys. Next is going to be some presentations by Councilmember High for our Sherwood Sharks.
Sherwood Sharks are in a little bit of a different situation. They are undefeated, City of Sherwood, for 15 years.
You work on a program, you put great coaches in place, and you watch it blossom. I'd like for my coaches that are here to come up here because I'm going to need help with these. Y'all can come on up. The coaches that are here tonight, now, our Sherwood Shark team has 307 kids in it. And I'm sure most of them are at church camp too. Or Florida or wherever, right? We do have a very, very hectic season. And so it's really not unusual for as soon as our season's over, they are boom out of town. So, and I love the fact, I know we have one family here that was on a baseball team and that mom was also here for swimming. So totally love that. Our Shark program is the most diverse program in the state of Arkansas, not only racially, but also economically. We work really, really hard to make this program affordable for kids of all economic levels so that cost doesn't keep a kid from being able to be a, competitive swimmer. Some of the things that we instill with kids that swimming does, it's a highly disciplined sport. We always tease the kids and we'll say, this is not football, there are no benches. We don't sit down. Right? Those kids just go, go, go. And when you go, 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 you're looking at the bottom of a pool, which isn't real interesting. So in order to have that kind of dedication to swim for an hour, hour and a half, those kids get that discipline. And so I'm proud to say swimmers, both on the high school and college levels, have the highest GPA year after year of any of the sports. So Sherwood benefits from that in our schools. Okay? And not only that, we help with A&P, economic development, because our kids aren't just from Sherwood. This program, with the high quality coaching that we have, we draw kids from all over Little Rock, North Little Rock, Cabot. We've had kids coming from Conway, no offense to that, all over the place receive the kind of quality coaching that they get in Sherwood with this kind of program. And these kids not only learn great swimming, we also work with sportsmanship, which is huge. So I'd like for the kids to come forward, and as I do, I'm just going to tell you about some of the highlights of this year with the Meet the Champs. If you guys want to come forward and turn around so that your parents can all take pictures of each other. We have the little ones try to get up front. There you go. Our coaches that we have up here, by the way, this is Stacia Trailer, Nicholas Hyde, and Ian Hyde. Truly, the Hydes are very invested in the swimming program. Thomas and Christopher are also coaches as well. Keith McAfee is our head coach who couldn't be there. Tonight, we also have several other coaches, Maddie and Gracie Reagan, as well as Mason Graves, and Brianna Hanley, Alderman Marina Brooks's niece. We've got several kids this year that are going on to swim college, that are receiving college scholarships. Ian and Brianna are two of them. We currently have one that made the Olympic trials, which was Christopher Hyde, who coached for us this year. And Thomas Hyde, who's also swimming Division I in Missouri. So, some of the highlights. We had 3 teams that set the Meet the Champs records. The really cool thing is they're typically breaking their own previous teammates' records, because we have lots of them. So, any of my girls, I know Josie's here, and Kaylee, y'all will step forward. I know some of them are here. These girls were set the 7 and 8-year-old relay record, and then we had the sunshine. We'll have to work on that for next year. Okay, we have some all-around winners. Josie's here, Josie Wade. Ethan Krittle's not here. Ellie Carpenter's here. Meredith Lipsky, I don't think Meredith's here. Michael Potts and Joseph Potts were all-around winners in their category Mini Champ. Kids, the coaches will each give you a little Sherwood medallion. The city is very, very proud of you guys. And thank you, Mayor, for allowing them to be recognized.
Again, congratulations to all of you. We have a great youth department here in our city, and we appreciate them. Give them just a moment to. Thank you for coming.
Good job.
You're welcome to stay and enjoy the rest of the entertainment if you'd like. But
I'd leave. It's okay. You watch on YouTube. You can see them online through the YouTube.
But they say DVR.
Yeah. Now the back row can move up. Next item on our agenda, committees and/or commissions, advertising and promotion commission.
We did not meet, as we typically do not meet in July because of the 4th of July holiday. We did have a very successful 4th of July event, and I'd like to thank, of course, the Parks and Rec Department, Public Works, and especially the Police Department for all the traffic control. We will meet as scheduled next month, which will be Wednesday, August 1st at 3 p.m. at the Bill Harmon Rec Center.
Thank you. Civil Service Commission, Parks and Recreation Committee.
We did not meet in July. There's presently nothing on the agenda for August. If something does come up on the agenda, the meeting would be the second Monday at 6 o'clock at the Bill Harmon Rec Center.
Thank you. Personnel Committee.
We did not meet and do not have anything on the agenda right now. Apparently we have a new HR director, so.
Rhonda Benton will be coming August the 1st, and I think she plans on being with us at the next council meeting, so we're excited about that.
We'll get together and decide what date we want to meet.
Very good. Thank you. Planning Commission.
The next item on the agenda was read one time last month, and it's my understanding that we're requesting just a one reading tonight and pass to the next. An ordinance amending Ordinance 729, known as the Sherwood Zoning Regulations, with respect to plan unit development zoning, repealing conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. That's the second reading of the ordinance. A resolution appointing Danny Knight, replacing Albert Harris, to serve on the Sherwood Planning Commission and Sherwood Board of Adjustments. The following person is appointed to serve on the Sherwood Planning Commission and the Sherwood Board of Adjustments for the term set forth. Danny Knight, term to expire 5/20 of 2023. That is your resolution.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Mayor, when the vote, excuse me, let me finish the vote first. Go ahead and call the roll, please. Okay. Lilly.
Aye.
Williams. Aye. Keplinger.
Aye.
Harmon.
Aye.
Brooks. Aye. McMinn.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Sanders.
Aye.
Councilmember.
I was wondering, did Mr. Martin or Mr. Penn have something to address with regard to this ordinance and any questions they might from the council to them? Since we got this book to read.
I just didn't answer any questions you had, but.
Okay. All right. I thought, okay.
We'll just email them to you.
For nothing.
Thank you.
That's the agenda, Mayor.
Thank you. Senior Citizen Committee.
Do you want to tell them about the flea market that's in the works? Okay.
Sewer Committee. At this time, our city engineer, Richard Penn, has something to update for the council.
Yes, thank you, Richard Penn, City Engineer. Miss Amy Sanders requested that I speak on her behalf. We have, back when you annexed the Gravel Ridge area, you increased a large geographical boundary of the city. Within that city limits are several sewer districts, sewer providers. Christ Engineers developed a master sewer plan in 2009, and it addressed most of the areas to the north of Kellogg Creek and Biomeda. It did not address this one particular area that appears to be in Gravel Ridge's sewer improvement district, but is not. And that particular area has become very, well, let's just say a hot spot for a development. And subsequent to all of the discussions, the lawsuits, the other things regarding who's going to provide utilities in that area, we've arrived to a point now to where we need to do an update on the sewer master plan. The sewer committee is recommending to you that you move ahead with Christ Engineers task order number 2. You've already got them under contract under the master services agreement. You can always change, but this particular task order is a not to exceed amount of $15,000, and it will study the areas particularly that have not been identified in the 2009, as well as update that 2009 study for any changes that may have occurred since the study was done. Would you care to approve this, or just have this for your information that the sewer committee has recommended and allow the mayor to sign this contract?
Yeah, it's less than 20. Yes, it's less than $20,000, and the contract already exists, right?
It's just informational.
Yeah, this is just informational. The mayor has the authority to.
It was just a courtesy to.
We would
to
like
bring it forward.
everyone to be informed of this and what's being done.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We're ready to move forward, aren't we? Mr. Gregg's here somewhere. I seen him earlier. Okay, very good. Thank you. Street committee.
Street committee did meet, which is evidenced by the phone calls I got about the minute. So if anyone has any questions, we have a lot on our plate. Richard is working hard to get us moving with designs and are getting engineering firms hired and moving on getting designs done so we can put the tax monies to use quickly. So Richard, did you want to share anything as it relates to that, or?
You had identified in the educational part of the sales tax period 4 projects, and then there was another large one that followed that. The 4 would be the Coles Road extension, Country Club Road improvements, which would be to solve the flooding problems there, Jacksonville Cato improvements to serve an additional population growth in that area, as well as the serious flooding problem. The East Maryland connection, which would complete that road for connecting Brockington over to 107. And then those were the 4 that were identified. And then the 5th one was the Brockington Road. I'm calling it capacity improvements because it's more than just a traffic study. In fact, I don't think we're wanting a study, we're wanting a solution. So to put it as Brockington Road capacity improvements, Brian Galloway and I went through and started an assessment, and it's just a huge piece of scrap paper, but I've got the important stuff here. Looking at the estimates that we've received from 2 engineering firms. Yes, 2 engineering firms that have provided thumbnail sketches for scopes of work on these projects so far. The 4 that were advertised or that were discussed during the sales tax period, Country Club, Coles, Jacksonville Cato, and Maryland Extension, are coming up in the 18 and a half, so about 18 to 19 million dollars on those, and you've got more or less 38.5 million available, so you're about halfway there. Brian has 12 other projects on a list that we think will come in for about 2 million. These are just really rough numbers, but so we're getting up to where we've got 16 projects and you're looking at, a little more than half your budget. So I say 16, that's, yeah, correct. There's a lot of money left. Now, in that 16 million that I'm showing left over here would be where we could put the Brockington Road capacity improvements. There are several things to start, but I would suggest that, number one, that I get prepared, which is to have a program of how to handle all of this. And Little Rock has one that they've used for years. I participated in that as a consultant. I'm familiar with it. It worked very well. I'd like to use it here. It will involve having 100% digital communications with the engineers. You've already set that up because you've required digital submittals in order to satisfy pages requirements. So these things are working out very well already. I think by later, certainly by the time we have some funds available later in the year maybe, or early in 2019, we can certainly have ourselves set up on a staff basis with our computers, with our software, with our personnel, and be ready to start getting the design work done. Now we can also start, in fact, we have started, Metroplan, Tab Townsville, KC Covington have offered to help get some letters written to the highway department so that we can enlist their help on the Brockington Road. That way we leverage as much as we can.
When you talk about Brockington Road, what's the phrase you're using? The Brockington Road what?
Capacity improvements.
Capacity
Solution.
improvement. Right. BRCI. Okay. Correct.
Was Hemp Hill in?
Sort of.
Are we talking about the end of Brockington Road where it meets 167 primarily, or are you talking about whatever's necessary to
I don't know if I've said it here before, but my opinion of engineers is that we are good at moving problems. It's much harder to solve them. So we can start at Brockington and East Keel, and we can move the problem. But I think moving the problem is not going to help the population feel good about using that arterial to get to work and back. So yes, the complete answer to your question is getting people onto 167, the future I-57, to get to wherever they're going, primarily Little Rock area.
Right. Okay. And so we're also looking at alternative routes to 67, 167.
Yes, and that's why it's the capacity improvement is more than just saying it's at this one spot. It could be that the improvement to get traffic through that area is to actually get the cars going somewhere else. So if there are other connections, such as the Coles extension for coming home, is a help.
Right.
But for getting to work, we have to look for some other options.
Right, and I was encouraged that Kevin had mentioned one of those alternatives in the minutes of the meeting, and I hope that alternative is pursued aggressively as well.
Do we have some type of guarantee with you that is?
I'm sorry.
What's your question?
As Charlie mentioned in the minutes, Kevin brought up, one of the reliefs for Brockington Road. So is that indeed then on the list?
What I would suggest is that we get an engineering company started on this capacity improvement and keep our eyes open and keep our minds open so that anything that's going to improve this is going to be an option. So certainly what you've mentioned already and what's in the minutes already, these are definite options.
So specifically, we're talking about the Hemp Hill extension, and that needs to be included.
Right.
Was not named as one of the four that are moving forward, but yes, that is one of the priorities that provides relief not just in traffic but also access for emergency vehicles. So that is definitely in the.
Hemp Hill is included. When Brian and I were running estimates, it's included in that 12 other projects below the top 4. So it is in the list. Yes, Hemp Hill is in the list.
Yeah, well, I mean, so we definitely talked about it at our last street committee meeting, and it is one of the priorities that we need to be pursuing, at least from the view of the street committee. So, and I think that's how it's mentioned in the meeting minutes as well. So, thank you.
Appreciate it, Richard. And there will be more to come. And we're just getting started. So
Just getting
I
our feet wet.
appreciate our Public Works Director, Brian, and our City Engineer, Richard. They have spent many hours on this, some of them after hours, working on these projects. And we've got a good team going there, and we're going to enlist some more help to help them to move it along. In the way of old business, I've asked our city attorney to kind of give us a timeline update on the sales tax bond.
Thank you, Mayor. We've already discussed the projects, and those are underway, and the planning is well underway. But I thought it might be helpful to hear kind of what the time frame is with respect to the bonds. Bill Spivey, our bond counsel, and Kirby are such great talents to work with, and I'm very lucky to have people like that to help us, or we're lucky to have people like that to help us with these projects. And Bill had identified, or actually Bill and Kirby had identified the ability of the city to, if we got our ducks in a row just right in terms of the proper notifications and approval from the Department of Finance Administration, there was a way that we could get the tax money to actually start flowing sooner. And I'm happy to report that that was accomplished. And so the taxes will actually start in the fourth quarter of this year rather than January. That's when the collection will begin. And I don't think we'll see actually any revenue until December or January, but in October is when the tax will start. Currently, the bond closing is tentatively scheduled for November the 29th of this year, and money will be available that day. That'll be the bond. If we do all of the bonds, or if we do some of the bonds, that's when the city will have money to spend. In between now and those dates, what will be happening is the preliminary official statement and the bond documents will be drafted by bond counsel. There will be a submittal to the credit rating agency for the bond insurers to give us our bond rating, which I anticipate will be a good one. Sherwood is considered a good investment. Once we have all of that and the preliminary official statements have been circulated, then there will be an ordinance coming to the council relative to the bond purchase agreement, which is kind of the last step for the council. And then we have the bond closing, as I said, on the 29th, and then receipt of tax collections for the city begin in December. So that's the schedule as we speak.
Very good. Thank you. Next, I would like to call back our city engineer, Richard Penn. He's going to give us an update on the former Amy Sanders Library remodel project.
Thank you. I know that I think our last activity together was a field trip walkthrough of the library, so hopefully everyone's understanding what it looks like inside and what the task is. Our architect and I have visited again this week, and he has already changed the contract to be in the form of a not to exceed amount with an hourly rate. That's the same way Christ Engineers is doing the sewer. It's the same way that FTN does stormwater. It's the same way that Garver is doing East Maryland. It's the new standard way to do these contracts. So with that said, I think the only thing that I lack on moving forward and getting design and getting a good estimate back to you is to put the architect under contract. And that amount is still the $64,000. Double check that number for you.
And while he's checking that number,
Yeah.
we do have $30,000 already allocated in the budget for that purpose.
While he's looking it up also, I'd like to make a motion that we bring off the table the resolution we tabled for consideration of this contract. So we can talk about it and consider passing this resolution for this contract.
Lilly,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Keplinger,
Aye.
Harmon.
Aye.
Brooks,
Aye.
McMahon.
Aye.
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 Sanders.
Aye. A resolution approving the proposed contract for remodeling of the old Amy Sanders Library building.
So, Richard, I have a question. You said a not to exceed amount, based on an hourly rate. So what happens if they don't get completed and they've bumping up against their not to exceed amount? Do they finish that on their own dime, or does the work stop and then they come back for more money? How does that work?
I can't speak for them. Mr. Williams is not. Mr. Johnson is not able to be with us tonight. But I can tell you what I've gone ahead and completed the job so that I could get on into the construction and finish the job. So, there may be some things that the architect is called on to do after they get into construction, but most everything that he can think of or that I can think of is already in this on the 64,500 not to exceed amount. Now, their original estimate was in the 600,000 to 800,000. Then we came back with the 510,000 number. Now, the 510,000 includes the deducts that we took for not doing anything outside with the parking lot or the landscaping or changing anything out there, except building repairs that are required, and not doing the generator. So leaving those out for now to get the interior completely done up is looking right. His estimate today is 510. That may change. In fact, I would expect it to be a different number when we get our bids in here, hopefully less than that. Looking at typical fees, though, your 64.5 is still plenty of money to cover him for everything that he should be called on to do. And they're at about the $9,000 point now with all the work they've done already, which is to get us proposed floor plans. And they've already had the engineers, the mechanical engineers, that's for heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. He's had them in there. He's had the electrical in there to look at it. We've already had computer people looking at it. So a lot of that original work that's necessary to bring, you information and to get a good set of bid documents, all that work is, a lot of it's been covered.
And he's covered after construction starts by a architect's construction contract anyway for change orders and things of that nature, any work that comes up after construction starts. So once he gets us to the point that we're ready to start construction, he's finished with that phase of work, right? And then if there's any,
I'm sure that we can modify the contract however he needs it modified, but I do not expect.
You don't expect there to be a construction contract with an architect's construction contract?
I don't know how it will figure in.
Okay.
I don't know the details on that yet.
So,
but I know to get to the bid documents, we need to get him some sort of income so he can get the bid documents produced.
So, trying to think how to clarify my question. What I don't want to happen is I don't want to get $64,000 into it, and there still needs to be more engineering done to get to the bid package. I mean, and him, we ran out of hours. So, I mean, I guess is that truly a do not exceed amount, whether it takes, more or less hours than what he would normally get paid for that, or is that once he reaches that number of hours, that's where it stops?
Included in this contract, basic services include, of course, all the design work, construction documents to make those, the bidding and negotiation to get through the bids and negotiation period, and the construction administration to review the contractor's submissions for payments and all that. So part of this 64.5 estimate is covering what he believes he will incur during the construction period. So the 64.5 is, I'm confident that 64.5 is a good number for a not to exceed amount. Again, he'll be billing hourly, and if we see anything deviating from what I expect to be, good progress, it looks like we're not getting enough, always manage that.
Move for the approval of the resolution.
I'll second it. Lilly?
Aye.
Williams?
Aye.
Keplinger?
Aye.
Harmon?
Aye.
Brooks?
Aye.
McMinn?
Aye.
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 Sanders?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Next item under new business. Well, let me first ask, is there any more old business that we have not discussed? Okay. Under new business, updated stormwater map. Well, you're on it tonight.
You might want to stand up
I
there.
fear this is just a dress rehearsal for what's coming with all the street projects. The FTN contract that you awarded back, I believe it was 2015. They produced a stormwater map inventory of all the drainage that they were privy to at that time. Well, there's been some new developments and things that have occurred, and that information was not captured. You passed an ordinance earlier this year requiring all the digital submittals. That's what qualifies you to receive a $20,000 grant from Pages to go toward updating that stormwater map. So FTN has crafted their contract for $23,500, and Sherwood's 15% there is $3,525. So basically, you can spend $3,525 and get a little over 20 grand worth of work, and it will go to support our inventory. It's going to help our stormwater program. It will also help in our FEMA reports. It'll help in our National Flood Insurance Program. All these things work together, supporting each other in different ways, but it's going to be a really good thing. And it's going to put Sherwood on the same map with Little Rock, North Little Rock, and several others where you can go online at Pages and see their infrastructure, which is very helpful to developers, very helpful to engineers when they're scoping things for developers. So without that information, it puts Sherwood a little bit behind the other cities on having data available easily on the internet, and Pages will do that. And I look forward to taking these street projects as they come in, and they'll be fully digital and passing those straight on to Pages. And these updates like this, we won't be having as many of those because we'll be getting the information on the front end. The reason I brought it to you is because it's really a $23,000 contract that Sherwood needs to sign, which is over the $20,000, but we're only out $3,525.
Who would ask us to be remote?
I'll make a motion now. Make a motion.
Second.
To approve it.
Richard, when was the last time that FTN was done? The last time the map was done?
I think it was 2015. I'll have to double
But it didn't
check.
capture everything, bottom line.
No, we've had several
digital.
developments delivered, for final plats, and I've actually gotten to sign a couple of them, so things are happening.
Thank you for moving quick.
Yes, ma'am.
So I have a question real quick though. I mean, I'm just curious as to why that's not part of the agenda, and we've got a resolution or something in front of us that we've already seen prior to getting here tonight. Instead of hey, I want another $3,400 or whatever. I mean, I think that ought to be not a surprise. I mean, so I'm kind of like, where did this come from?
I think I mentioned it, or I hope that I recall mentioning it correctly back when I asked for the digital submittals and you passed those two ordinances, that this was the basis for that.
Yeah, but shouldn't there be something that was in our packet? I mean, last Tuesday, or last Thursday, Friday, that this was in writing, and we knew we were looking at this when we walked in here tonight.
Kevin, you're probably exactly right. That probably should have been in there. And we learned when Richard and I met that really the exposure to the city was just going to be the $3,000 as opposed to the $23,000. And so since that was under $20,000, our thinking was, well, that's something the mayor could enter into. And then we said, well, no, let's bring this up to the council so that they understand that even though it's a $23,000 expenditure, that's really not what the city's going to be doing. So an ordinance wouldn't be necessary, but we wanted to make full disclosure about what the procedure is and what the process was.
Is a check going to be cut for $20,000?
I believe what's going to happen, and again, let me say I believe what's going to happen. We're going to pay our $35.25. Pages is going to pay the $20,000. So I don't believe they're going to send us $20,000. They're going to pay that because they have the grant. Now, if I'm wrong on that and they actually have to give us the grant, we have to turn right back around and expend it out,
Then we'll
it'll be a wash.
We'll have to come back to council.
That's why I want you guys to know everything, every detail about what I've got, even though it's, as we believe, not necessary to bring it here. I believe it is necessary to bring it here so that you're fully informed.
And it literally comes down to whether or not there's a check written for $20,000.
$1,000.
Right.
Yeah, no, our belief is this is going to be $3,000, but we still wanted it disclosed. Now, if it turns out that that's not the case, we'll be back.
Well, then, I mean, but if that's the case, then you apparently don't need this board's authority to enter into that agreement, right?
If it should work out that it's only $3,000, no, we wouldn't. The mayor could sign that agreement, but we didn't want to not discuss the fact that there was over a $20,000 expenditure, because we don't know what, for sure how it's going to shake out in terms of the transaction. So we didn't want to come back and say, well, you just told us it was 3 and it's really 23. We wanted you to know how the process works.
Potential future.
Yeah.
But the motion was to approve the 35, 30 or 3580, whatever that was, not 23.
I actually want you to be fully aware that this is a proposal for stormwater GIS mapping update, and it only has one signature remaining. One is from Linda Johnson at FTN making the offer, and one is from the authorized representative, City of Sherwood, which will be the mayor. So those are the only 2 signatures here. I'll take this back to Pages.
So we don't need
And I'll say that we're ready.
resolution.
I just don't want this to look like that the mayor's signing something that's in excess of $20,000 when this says 23.5.
No, and I appreciate that. I'm not trying to be, hard to deal with here, but I'm just trying to understand, what it is we're agreeing to. And I mean, if it truly needed a resolution or an ordinance, I mean, why was that not included in the packet, for us to view, prior to coming here this evening? That's my only question. Richard, you've been transparent, and I appreciate that. That's not my question.
And I think dotting your I's and crossing your T's is not a bad thing. We can go ahead and vote on the resolution tonight, and then it's in the minutes. And if Pages comes up and says we needed a resolution, you can show them the minutes where a resolution was passed tonight on that, and then you've got it, and everybody's covered.
That would be my point exactly, because if they are going to have to do the check exchange, which is essentially what I'm seeing here, we don't have to wait another month to have that vote, because he could do this next week if we pass the resolution. I kind of agree with Charlie. Let's go ahead and pass the resolution for this to enter
For the
into this
stated
agreement.
amount.
So,
We
agreed.
can't do a
My
stated
point
amount,
is,
though.
this should not have been a surprise to come up in front of us for a vote tonight. That's my point.
I don't have to have your vote tonight. This is just listed as update. So, and that's why we listed it that
I
way.
think the vote is approval for the 3,000, not a resolution for the 23,000. That would be, we'd have to come back.
Well, but you don't need that 3,000 from us because of that amount, right? So we don't need a resolution tonight. Is that what?
No, we just wanted the council's understanding of what was taking place.
Right.
That was our reason.
Yeah.
Any more questions or discussions? Or what do you recommend, council, that we do?
It's in the record that it's a $3,000 exposure, and that in the event that it turns out the transaction has steps, then it's the understanding that we'll have to come back and ask for it.
Okay.
We won't be able to
Resolution.
do that.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just wanted you to understand where we are. Okay. All minds clear for me?
Appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item on the agenda, actually on the new business, I'm going to ask our economic developer, Colleen Carr, to come forward and give her quarterly report.
Good evening. Good to see you guys. So I'm just going to go real quick over some of the highlights of the last quarter, and of course, any details you have or questions you have, just see me. I can explain it, so I don't waste your time. But basically, this last quarter, I've been actively working on 3 business leads. We have one that closed, but we won't be able to announce till the first of the year. But it's exciting. And then let's see. I've also been working on retention and expansion, and last quarter, I kind of met one-to-one with some of our key industries in the area and businesses. And this quarter, we're taking to the next level, and we're having 2 lunches. We're calling them engagement lunches. And I've reached out to key industry, key developers, key people in our community. We're going to work together to try to move forward as a group and try to encourage and engage just the big picture plan for economic development. So I'll keep you posted on these as they go. And I'm excited. We've got a good attendance. 12 are coming to the first one, and then we've got over 12 coming to the next one. So I'll keep you posted on those. As far as my training has gone, I completed my first year of Oklahoma University Economic Development Institute. That was April 28th through May 4th. And next week, I head to UCA for the Community Development Institute. So I'll be participating in that. And then kind of the strategic plan or overall big view I've got going is, again, I'm working with this public group, trying to engage them in economic development. I'm also working to build an economic development organization. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but my big picture plan for that is that we have kind of a nest egg, an investment, a group of, or a funding source that we can back some investors that are looking to come to this area that's not always coming from the city. So maybe that's my nonprofit development coming into play, but I'm working to kind of build that for us so we are more attractive to industry interested in Sherwood. So that's my big plan. Marketing updates, we have officially kind of tweaked the Office of Economic Development. This is a logo that was approved earlier. It's just the same Sherwood thing. It's Office of Economic Development, but I've been wearing Sherwood Chamber, and just to simplify it, to kind of make it clearer, I'm going to go by this from here forward. It's been approved now through Misty, and so it's the correct font. So you might see that, and we also have Facebook page and some social media that we're vamping up next quarter, so you'll see this logo attached to that, just to kind of make it a little clearer. We also hope that our Facebook page becomes more and more interactive so that we can announce things through the Facebook page and just have a place for people that are asking all those questions to go and hopefully field the answers there. Let's see what else. We are working with, we applied for and were accepted to be part of Uncommon Communities, and this is the Winthrop Rockefeller Institute has been putting this on, and so we just found out last week that they have approved us. I'll know more soon on exactly what that means, but they're going to work with us to kind of identify maybe our identity or a little marketing tool that we can use to make Sherwood a little more attractive, again, for quality of living. So this kind of focuses on quality of living. So and let me make sure I don't have any other, I do. One other announcement. I've been working with MLRA, Metro Little Rock Regional Alliance, and that's a regional marketing group that's trying to market clearly our region. So I've been working really hard on that committee to make sure that Sherwood's noticed and kind of stood up and screamed for us 3 or 4 times, and we are. And we made a decision last week on the marketing company we're going to use. And they're going to, the company we chose is actually, it's DCI, and they're going to interview each individual community. So I will reach out to you guys as we get our date on the map, and we'll have some of you talk to them about Sherwood. So I think we're moving forward. I'm excited. A lot of groundwork was done before I got here, so I'm still reaping benefits from all y'all's hard work, but it's exciting times. So
very good. Thank you. Is there any more new business to come before the council? In the way of announcements, one thing that I want to announce, in the May 2018 council meeting, we announced that we were going to do document destruction of administrative records, and that still is on go. But also, there's just for informational purposes, court is going to also do a document destruction at the same time with this, and they just said they'd feel better if it was just announced for informational purposes, and let it be publicly noted that they're going to destroy the court documents that's allowable at that time. And other way of announcements, Sherwood Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association will receive donations from On the Border as well as Papa Murphy's, and the dates are listed here. Sherwood Animal Shelter Events, National Mutt Day, July 31st, free adoptions, and first annual Puppy Palooza Pool Potty at Fairway Pool and Dog Park coming in August. I believe Animal Shelter Director, what is the date on that? Is it August 18th? August 18th, 10 to 2. Okay, thank you. Clear the Shelter event, free adoption, August 6th through 11th. Free Labor Day weekend event, free adoption, August 27th through August 31st. Are there any more announcements? Hearing none?
Move we adjourn.
Thank you.